All right, we are back. We are back here on United and Everything Football Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our post-match analysis of the game we played against Leeds United. A lot of you had a lot of things to say, and I promise that I'll share some of the comments that you shared here on the podcast. So yes, I'm going to do exactly that. I'll be sharing some of the comments that you shared with us. I'm here today with Kwame and Mami is back here. Mami US is back after abandoning Mami Ghana the last time on the show to be by herself, all alone. She is back with us on the podcast. Mami, great to have you back on the podcast.
Thank you for having me back. I'm glad to be back, especially coming back after something has finally happened.
One or two things have
happened. But Mami,
I have a question. I have a question for Mami. Mami, your surname is, am I allowed to mention your surname?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so Smith, yeah? So are you related in any way to any German person?
Yes, my husband.
Okay, let's go on.
Well, anytime you hear the name Smith, okay. There is a certain coach who coached Kotoko in 2000.
Hans-Dieter Schmidt.
When Hans beat them to the famous Confederations Cup, he was the man in charge. Hans-Dieter Schmidt.
I know that name so well.
That game very, very, very well. Anyway, remember to leave. Come again. Anyway, remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to leave a comment and also like the videos for us. So when I come back, I'm going to read the comments that you shared. And Mami told me something, Kwame. So Mami will be going to watch the game in Chicago. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for her. So Mami will be our correspondent.
She'll have a close eye view on things that we don't see, yeah?
So I promise, after that game, I know we do a post-match immediately after. But when we are done, we'll bring Mami back to come and paint a picture and share the experience of watching United in Chicago for us. So we'll bring Mami back. Let me make a quick turnaround. When I come back, we delve straight into the issues here on United and Everything Football. All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to United and Everything Football Podcast. Remember to subscribe and share your comment with us. There was a whole lot of comments. I promise you, I can't read everything. It was just too much. I'm just scrolling and it's not even getting there. But it gladdens our hearts that you share your comment with us every single time on United and Everything Football. So let me start with this comment by Spencer. He says that Kwame is so right about heaven. From his first game I saw, we have something in those two, trust me. Another person, Udenke takes, we need a box-to-box midfielder who is 6'2" to 6'3", like Amadou Onana or Felix Micha, who can be paired with Bruno because Casemiro doesn't have the legs anymore. This is from Lawrence. I think Ahmad and Mbemo will be switching in-game, like 3 and 10. We'll see how it goes.
Good spot.
Yes. Colin says, you people won't talk about the build-up or the setup. Well, Kwame, someone is asking why we won't talk about the build-up for Man United. We'll discuss that at some point. Hey, this one is longo. Ibrahim Abdulrahman. He says, one of the biggest challenges for Amorim is how to build the ball from the back. And they are in twofold. One, none of the back four is comfortable on the ball enough to pass the ball through the middle. It's either sideways or long balls to the opponent. Two, Casemiro and Bruno are so erratic that they don't dictate the games and they all care about, or all they care about is transition. What's clear is that if our system or style of play can't hold the ball enough to get the best out of our players in good positions, we'll still struggle. Another point is that our best players tend to pick the ball that's too deep in our half because we play too deep and the coach needs to sort that out. Someone has actually analyzed and seen that,
It's
yes.
a lot of information.
Savage Scary, one of our popular commenters or people who really comment on our podcast, says that clearly there was no connection between Cunha and the players. We need that connection as soon as possible. Emmanuel says that I don't know why United players were not looking for Cunha to pass the ball to. He was clearly our brightest spot in our attack. Give the ball to Cunha. That's what he said with a lot of exclamation. I concur with Kwame Amin's assessment of Diego Leon. Even Neymar faced challenges during his first season in Europe. Quite a number of comments, but maybe in the course of the show, I would read a lot more so that people get to know. But Mami, let me pick your thoughts. You watched that game against Leeds. I mean,
Yes.
what did you make of that quickly before we delve into today's topics?
Obviously, it was a game of two halves. We played different teams in the halves. Uh, the first half, it looked like we had started with Collier. Well, the lineup showed that Collier was partnering Casemiro, but just a little bit into the game, I noticed that it was actually Bruno that was partnering Casemiro. Collier was playing the right 10, and then a little bit later in the half, Collier's position actually was switched to the right back, the right wing back, and then Ahmad came more as the right 10, and we were a little bit more potent in that time. So I think that that's where you saw the potency a little bit more in our game towards the end of the half. The second half was similar in the sense of the potency was really when our wings were really doing well. So I feel like this and most of what we saw last season when we had really good games, it has led me to conclude that our characteristics as a team, our game as a team, is that our strengths are on the wings, not in the center. And that is how the manager wants us to play. He wants us to keep possession in the wings area. So your right hand, basically those zones, the zones on the outside of the center, not in the center.
So you mean the right and the left half space and then the wide areas.
Right areas. That's where our strengths are. That's where he wants our strengths to be. And that's why he also bought the 10s that he bought.
Yeah.
And when it comes to our weakness as a team, it's in the center. And so I think that what a lot of our fans are worried about is that we don't have the strength in the center. And I think there's a question of, should we be worried about not having the strength in the center, or as a team, we should just accept our identity as being strong on the wings and really play to that? And I feel like if maybe we understand Amorim's philosophy a little bit more, and we understand that Amorim wants us to be strong in the wings and in the wider area, and not necessarily in the center, we won't have such a hard reaction when we see that we are not playing through the middle, and instead we are always trying to go wide to attack the teams. So I'm not saying that one is the right way or the wrong way, because you can win a game in either way. It depends on the game and things like that. But I think that as a fan base, maybe we should be more accepting of the fact that maybe that is not the manager's philosophy, to have the strength in the middle. That maybe his philosophy is we have to be stronger in the wide areas.
Well, that's a very interesting one. And that brings me to topic 3 of what we wanted to discuss today. So, Kwame, I'm going to switch it up because Mami has mentioned something very interesting and very significant. And I'll share this tweet by Dev Bajwa. I don't know if you've seen that guy, very interesting guy on X and also on TikTok, who has a very funny way of presenting issues that has to do with United. And he posted this. He says that we all know that Carlos Baleba would be the dream signing of Man United right now. But if he's indeed too expensive, who would you want instead? So Kwame, I will tie this into the analysis Mami just made and the obvious weakness that we've seen with our team being in the middle of the pack, of which a lot of United fans have raised concerns regarding our midfield and the quality that we have vis-a-vis all the other clubs that we are likely to play against. On the back of this message by Bajwa, what is your opinion on this midfield situation?
Mame described our strategy under Amorim perfectly, but I feel like that's more like on the offensive end. When we do have the ball, what we do want to do. The issue is we are porous when we don't have the ball. And Amorim himself spoke about it after our first preseason game, that we lack the speed in the middle of the park and the ability to win the ball back in the middle of the park. That is out of possession. That's an issue. Playing our oldest midfielders in Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro in the middle of the park against Premier League opposition is a waste of time. This was even against a promoted side that didn't have the most experienced of midfields, yet they run rings around us in the middle of the park. If you're not going to win the ball back quickly, it sort of defeats even what you want to do going forward. You need the ball to be... See, the whole point is we want to be a possession-based team. We need a ball. We need a football. And if you need a football, you have to win the football back quickly. If your midfield can't win the ball back, then you're in trouble. It even leaves the three at the back exposed because, like Mame said, we would have our wing backs foraging forward, trying to combine with the number 10s and all that. They will most likely be found in offensive areas. Meaning that you just have three centre backs who are playing 1v1 if your central midfielders can't offer any form of cover. So he has to figure it out. We are hearing we would want to reinforce that position. I'm sure we'll get into the topic of what we want to do for the rest of the window. But even with the players that we have, he has to find the right combination. I spoke about my disappointment with Collier playing as a number 10 and as a right wing back. He's a midfielder. You lack midfielders with legs. This is preseason. If you're not going to give the boy a shot in midfield, then you must as well just let him go out and go and play football wherever he wants to play football. The other midfielders are young in Kobe Menu and Manuel Ugarte, whom we bought for a lot of money. I think it's about time you have to instill some form of trust in them to play in the middle of the park. I think they did well in the second half compared to what Bruno and Casemiro were doing in the first half in our midfield. It's about time, if you're not going to get a midfielder in eminently, you have to start giving these two a lot of game time in the middle of the park to figure things out. If a midfielder does come through before the end of the window, then hooray. But that position cannot be left the way it is, or we cannot be making certain selections that would not help us. That Bruno Casemiro thing, honestly, it should stop. It should really stop. I love Casemiro as a player, but when it's time, it's time. Let's not fall in love with certain things. He is not a fit for the Premier League anymore. We know why he's here. We know why he's still here. That's the reality of the matter. It's difficult to shift him, so we are just trying to see it through. But to consider him after you knew very well that he was a misfit for your system last season. Amorim himself said it, that he thought he could not play the system. But along the way, he proved to be of value to him, especially in Europe. Not necessarily in the Premier League, but in Europe. And we all know why he was a success in Europe. This season, we are going to play Premier League football. We're going to play against powerful midfielders, runners. He can't run anymore. So try and find a solution around it than trying to rely on and now lean 33-year-old in Casemiro. He has to find other solutions. See, I don't even mind if you draft Aiden Heaven back into midfield for some games. See, Ferguson never ever.
We've been on this for quite some time when we speak.
Because he's a midfielder. He played as a winger. He's played as a midfielder for Arsenal. Just changed by Pierre Mertesacker. I've seen Jones play in midfield for Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
I've seen Ryan Giggs play in midfield for Alex Ferguson. Sometimes you have to find solutions from within. It doesn't necessarily always mean that we have to go outside to spend money. We do have to spend money, but if the player you want isn't coming in, the ideal player you want isn't coming in, Carlos Baleba, as everybody seems to be on that train, right? Despite the fact that we've hired people who should be scouring the whole of Europe looking for a Carlos Baleba. If that person doesn't come in, you have to look within. See, if Martinez comes back and you have to ease him into the side. You can play him in midfield. Rather than play him straight forward as in centre back until he settles in and then whatever. Try something different.
That's
Put legs in that.
That's why it's preseason, right?
Exactly.
Well, so, Kwame,
yes. Coming.
What about if we played a 3-4-1-2? You have Ugarte and Casemiro as your two in the middle of the 4, and then you have Bruno in the 1 with Cunha and Mbeumo as your 2 up.
2 episodes ago, when we had Nathan and Michael on the show, I said exactly what you said right now. I said, if the coach is flexible enough, you can find solutions within, and one of the solutions was the exact formation you just spelled out. You can play 2 midfielders who can win the ball back for you. They don't necessarily have to spray the passes up front because you have a creative midfielder right in front of them. And then you have your 2 number 9s come number 10s in Cunha and Mbeumo. And it works. Everybody knows it works, right? You've seen even McFred. You know, I put up a post comparing McFred and to Casemiro and Ugarte and Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes as to which midfield is actually has been better for Manchester United. And a lot of people went with McFred because they were just industrious. When other coaches knew their strengths, they put them right in the middle of the park to simply win the ball back. Bruno right in front of them and a centre forward or 2 to score as goals. It works, but the coach hasn't shown to be flexible. And I put a theory out there as to why he hasn't done that. It's either because we don't know something yet and he wants us to know something. This is the base. This is what our identity is. And then from there, you make variations to what you know. My theory is he doesn't know anything else. This is what he knows. This is what he wants us to do. And by force, we have to get to know it. It's a 3-4-3, and it has to work. If you're going to stick to your virtues, I feel like you're losing something. Other coaches would try something else if you don't have the bodies. Right now, you don't have a striker, right? If you stick Højlund or Zexi in there, in front of your 2 number 10s in Mbeumo and Cunha, what shows that your striker would be productive at the end of whatever the 2 number 10s are trying to do? But you can put your 2 number 10s in the 9 position. We've seen them do it for other clubs. I think that is part of why we bought them. The fact that the 2 of them can play as 9s. And you put our most creative player in a position where he doesn't have to be a danger to the team. Right behind them. Him playing in midfield and being as erratic as we've seen him makes him a danger to us because once you lose that ball, we're not winning that ball back in the middle of the park anyway. But you can take more risk when you are higher up behind 2 forwards. You'll have your wing backs also supporting them, and it works. But is Amorim ever going to be that flexible this soon? I doubt.
Mame, your thoughts? That midfield, how do we deal with that? If we can't get Carlos Baleba, who do you go into the market for?
I mean, Carlos Baleba is really nice. I saw a highlight a couple of days ago and I said, Charlie, they reminded me how good this guy was. Because I remember when we played Brighton and he's looked really good. And he's a good player. It will be interesting to see if maybe he's a good player because he doesn't have the pressure of being a Manchester United player on him or something like that. Because some players, they look good for other teams, but when they join us, it's a challenge for them. But if we are talking about like the type of player that I'm interested in, honestly, the names that come to mind, Ander Herrera, James Park, like industrious little runners that don't gas up. Like they are always running. They are everywhere. If you tell them you're man marking this person, they man mark that person out of the game. That is who I'm looking for. I don't honestly care about a name. For me, that is the features that player should have.
The profile.
Yeah, that's the profile. I feel like that's what Amorim is looking for, because after the game they interviewed him and he said we need a runner in midfield. We need someone who can bring intensity and put in the midfield. But I'm really curious when he says that, who is he going to drop for that? If he's sticking to his principle, if he's sticking to this formation, who is he going to drop for that? Because I'm not looking at Ugarte and I'm not looking at Casemiro, because I'm like, if you drop one of those guys and you put this person, this imaginary person we are thinking of there, then it's still the same problem, because you cannot have one person do that job in a Premier League game for your team. That is a 3-4-3.
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
Hold on. It looks for me that you've accepted that Bruno would be a mainstay in that midfield. If correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I don't think that he should be.
Mm-hmm.
Is the statement I'm making. I think that when we talk about this really industrious person coming in who can carry the ball, he should be replacing Bruno.
Okay.
That's how
Okay.
be Ugarte and that person.
Okay.
Casemiro and Bruno are, their age profile is that they should be now be phased out of the team. So obviously we're not doing that this season, but I'm thinking that whoever we are
Or can I suggest another formation to help your argument? A lineup. Sorry, a lineup to help your argument.
Question, but yeah, suggest it, please.
So let's say we get this imaginary ball carrier in the middle of the park to pair with Ugarte, as we both want. And he goes with a front three, because it's like we are saying, he's not going to flip to a 2 with a 10. He goes to the front three of Bruno as the left 10, Mbeumo as the right 10, and Cunha up front.
Yeah. Or Bruno at the right 10, Mbeumo up front with Cunha on the left. But those three are your front three, basically.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah, I feel like Bruno cannot play as a central midfielder. I feel like that's it comes back to that time and time again. He, once in a while, Bruno will actually perform really well in central midfield. He's had a few games here and there like that, but it's not something that is sustainable.
I agree with you.
So I just don't see it as, I'm not seeing the world where for the next 3 years in the Manchester United shirt, Bruno is a central midfield, like Ryan Giggs was at the end of his career. I'm not seeing it. And I feel like that's the direction that Amorim is going. Now, if he pulls it off, if Bruno is able to reinvent himself as a very hardworking central midfielder, then kudos, because that will be awesome. But I just haven't seen it. I can't see it. So that's where I have the difficulty, and I feel like he needs to be replaced. But as a player, he's incredible, and so we need to find a spot for him in the attack.
I mean, that's where Bruno. See, don't underutilize Bruno. I mean, that's my argument. There is a sweet spot. I always call it a sweet spot where he thrives and he excels. You don't have to take Bruno off that position, because there are zones within the pitch where he's able to show his greatest influence when it comes to playing the game for Manchester United. And Amorim, I expect him to be able to identify these zones and just keep Bruno there, because when you drop him deeper, someone mentioned how erratic he can be in possession and how it can lead to turnovers in dangerous zones that can cost us. And you also mentioned, and Kwame has also mentioned that, and it's an observation that a lot of people have made. I think in the mind of Amorim, he's looking at Bruno's ability to, give very incisive passes from certain zones. But I believe if we are not careful, when the ball is rubbed off him in those zones where Bruno has got this thing where he tries to feign a certain, use his body to fence, and all of those tricks within those zones. If you are not careful,
Okay. You can do those things as a number 10. A
yes,
central midfielder doesn't do those things.
they drive with the ball.
You see, sometimes you become an enemy, you become a danger to your own self in the sense that you do whatever any manager asks you to do. You see, sometimes some people put themselves in trouble by just, oh, okay, wherever the manager wants me to play, I'm committed,
Yeah.
I'll do it. Sometimes, for your own sake, let the manager know, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
It depends on your status in the team. Not every player can do that, of course. Some players need to play football. So I remember Vidic was granted an interview. I think he did an interview with Gary Neville, and it was like he never, ever wanted to play left centre back. But the most expensive centre back in the world was playing right centre back, and he had just got into the team. So he was not going to tell Ferguson that, I'm not
We
really
go and
going.
adapt.
He ended up playing there for like 6 or 7 years. So was Premier League Player of the Year twice. But I think Bruno's status in the team now, you are team captain. You have shown this incredible commitment to Manchester United by even staying and not going to Saudi Arabia at all. Sometimes, you can go walk up to the manager and go like, if I want the best version of myself, and the best version of myself is in forward areas. I think people play this whole best 11. It has to always see, it's a squad game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The strength of your squad is what will take you far, especially in the Premier League.
What's your best 11?
Know your best 11. See, Kevin De Bruyne could stink up the joint for like the first 4 or 5 months of every season, but he would, and probably not even be playing because of injuries and whatnot. But when it comes to the business end of stuff, like the season for him starts from February, and he will just put in like top class performances, and that's what everybody else remembers. And they go like, Kevin De Bruyne has to be the best player this season, forgetting that half of the season was not even playing football. If you want to see the best version of me as the club captain, I have to play in offensive areas. I love the fact that you have brought in 2 number 10s. Let's compete. Let's compete. Let's make each other better in this area. The midfield ain't great. We need to solve that midfield. Put in another body there who can run and give me the ball to do what I do best. But then expect me to do everything from deeper areas. Sometimes, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's enough on that. Let's move on to another interesting. Yeah, Mami has something to say. Yeah, let me hear you.
Well, it's funny because our coach is a Portuguese. I'm sure that our coach watches the Portugal national team really well. All the things we are talking about is happening already. He doesn't play as a deep line central midfielder. He plays in a team with Vitinha, who is very similar to the kind of player we're looking for in terms of being very hardworking and driving with the ball. And there's another central midfielder usually that is paired with him. So I'm just wondering, like, why is there for everyone to see? I don't understand why.
Sometimes we sit in our houses and it's not like we're geniuses or whatever. We just have a bloody damn opinion. But some things are so obvious. You're like, but this guy is paid so much money to know what we are seeing. The best. And this doesn't just apply to Amorim, honestly. It's applied to almost. At the point that I was wondering, like, what's wrong with Ten Hag? Did he fall off a cliff and then lose his mind? Because some of the decisions you're making at this point, or is it the pressure of the job sometimes? I don't get it.
Let's move forward. I'm going to show you something right now. So as you can see on the screen, we did this thing and we actually posted it on our X handle where we showed you the United squad now. We have the INEOS signing, as you can see, which has no goalkeeper. They've not signed a goalkeeper yet. It has no goalkeeper, but it has the back three of Euro, De Ligt, Heaven, wing backs of Mazraoui, Ugarte, Dogu. And Mazraoui, in the second line, you have Mazraoui, Ugarte, Corny, and Dogu. Then you have Cunha, you have Mbumo, and then you have Zegzi. And in there is Obi. There is also Diego Leon. Now, let's come to the other side. Majority of which were signed by Erik ten Hag. So you have Onana, you have Diogo Dalot, you have Maguire, you have Martinez, you have Shaw, Casemiro, Mainu, Ahmad, Bruno, Mount, Højlund. Mame, in the next 5 minutes, before we go for the next break, then after the break, Kwame will take over. Which of this?
You don't need 5 minutes.
You don't need
I don't need 5 minutes. I don't need 5 minutes.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
So, I'll tell the story this way. It's a 90-minute game.
Yeah.
Basically, what will happen is we won't have a keeper in our nets. Okay?
Yes.
We won't have a keeper in our nets. So you know which team I'm on already. We won't have a keeper in our nets. But the firepower we have and the keeper that they have in their nets, we will score them. Then it will be a question of...
No, but who is we? When you say we, which side are you?
My side doesn't have a keeper.
We don't have a keeper.
And then they will want to score us, but they can't score us because their striker can't score. So there's no keeper in our net. They can't score us. And
what a beautiful story.
their goalkeeper will make some saves here and there and everything, but all of a sudden, then one of their defenders will become injured. So now they have to go off. But our defenders, they don't get injured. Like, they will play the full 90. So, what's going to happen? We'll score again. Last minute, Bruno will come, score a goal, give them the game will end 3-1. So that Bruno will look good a little bit. That's, you know.
So the long and short of what you're trying to say is what?
So, in less than 90 seconds, I've told you how I feel. Obviously,
if you didn't get it, then I don't know what you.
Then I'll never get it.
Because this is as clear.
The INEOS squad is better even without a goalkeeper for full 90 minutes.
That's the simplest point.
I get it.
Even without a goalkeeper. I mean, you see, Charlie, I get the point. The point is so clear because if you watch the squad and if you watch Højlund, look at Mount. Charlie, Mount can barely do anything. Honestly speaking. Mount,
so basically the pre-INEOS squad count. So the question I have for you both.
Yeah, talk to us.
Does INEOS know what they're doing?
Well, I mean, would you take it before
from their rebuild? Because see, the reason I'm asking this is a lot of people make it look as if they don't necessarily know what they're doing or they are not even spending money. But when you look at the number of players they've signed, that's about 13 players in the past 3 windows. They've utilized every single window and bought players in every single position except for a goalkeeper, which I'm sure they'll buy next. Do they know what they're doing?
INEOS knows what they are doing, but they will also make mistakes and have also made mistakes. And the most important thing for INEOS to do is to learn quickly from those mistakes so that we don't repeat them for the future. So that's what I'll say about that. I think that a lot of fans put too much on things that maybe they see in the media and not necessarily what is actually happening on the ground. There's a lot of information out there. It's really important that when INEOS talks directly to fans through fanzines like the one with Andy and things like that, fans pay attention, not just the stuff that is viral on the internet, but actually reading these interviews and things like that, because there's a lot of information in there that really gives you a good grasp of their humility and them understanding the seriousness of the position they are in and the decisions that they have to make. So it's a very, very, very difficult job that they are in. INEOS is doing what their best, and they will continue to get better as they stay in the job.
Well, Kwame, do you want to take it on or
let me go for the break and come. When I come back from the break, we would continue. I would add up to what Mame has said. Largely, I agree with her, and I side with the point that she's making, but I will make a few points in addition to that. Here on United and Everything Football, remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Please remember that if you do that, you help us, especially the likes. Please do like the videos and share your comments with us. Let's take a quick turnaround. When we come back, we'll delve straight into a lot more of these issues. And then we will talk about the issues that are coming in terms of the transfers as well. And also the tour. We'll look at Mame's itinerary, going to Chicago and getting us all the information and everything. All right, we'll be right back after this. All right, so we are back once again on United and Everything Football. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also leave a comment and like the videos. Yes, pause and like the videos for us. It's very important. All right, so Mami made a very good point about INEOS, a point I share in. You see, when the ultimate thing that has to happen is that we need to see a translation of whatever you are doing on the pitch. If that doesn't happen, people begin to question whatever project you are on. But you see, if you analyze some of the things that they've done, for instance, that decision, it's been proven to all of us that giving Erik ten Hag another opportunity after winning the FA Cup really hurt INEOS. It really did. Because after their assessment, if they had gone ahead to perhaps allow Erik ten Hag to go and made a different decision, maybe, just maybe, things would have turned out differently. And I believe it was a mistake on their part, something we all have to accept because some of us were all clamoring, let Erik continue, let Erik continue. And it made things a lot more difficult at the end of the day. So it's sort of distorted. And now they brought in a coach whose idea of football was a total, I don't know if the English is correct, antithesis. Let me use one big English to whatever group that they had assembled in terms of the way they wanted to play and the way they wanted to execute things, right? So I believe this term or this season is going to be a real test for INEOS with regards to whatever projects they are on. If you take the individual quality of the players they've brought in and the promise a lot of them hold, you begin to have an appreciation of what they are trying to do. These are quality players. You take Mbumo and the kind of season he's had over the last 3 seasons that he's been with Brentford in the league. I mean, that is a quality player. Cunha is a quality player. Ugarte played very well at Sporting, had a difficult spell, but his quality is never in doubt. Which other player? Mazraoui, quality player. De Ligt, quality player. So you sort of get exactly what they are trying to do. But the key thing here is that it has not translated yet on the pitch. And because it has not translated yet on the pitch, it makes or creates a lot of things in the minds of people. What are you trying to do? So the onus lies in Ruben Amorim trying to do exactly what they expect him to do. Improve the existing players and be able to get a tune out of them and also use the materials that INEOS are getting for him. So I get the argument. I get the point. I'm in support of what Mami is saying. If you don't see what is translated on the pitch, you begin to doubt exactly what is happening. And these are things that fans of...
It's the only thing that matters to football fans at the end of the day, to be honest.
And now modern fans don't have time for a project or it will take time. They want it now. They want everything hot now. So that's the problem with INEOS. And I believe they have to learn from their mistakes quickly. And they all sound confident. Amorim sounds confident. Jason Wilcock sounds confident. Omar Barada sounds confident. And the man himself has given a huge vote to Ruben Amorim as far back as March. So we expect to see a far better team going into this season. We'll see how best it is. Because if you read the intention of some of the players that they are bringing in, I mean, we have been calling for Premier League proven players. You see, today I saw a stat, I think it was from Statsman Dave, that said that Mbumo and Cunha combined gave about 48 goals. And United as a team scored about just 47 goals. And it tells you the level that these players can bring into the team should they find that same rhythm or that same form that they are carrying from their various clubs into Manchester United. So the intention is there. You see exactly what they are trying to do. But as to whether it will translate quickly for fans to calm down, we will all have to wait and see. But I believe the idea behind the motives needs to be properly analyzed, and we realize that INEOS are not doing so bad at all. Kwame, that's our answer to your question. I don't know.
I'll just top up on the squads just before we move on to the next topic, I guess. Let me look at the INEOS squad because I think Mami has dealt properly with the pre-INEOS players. Injury prone, old, a lot of misfits, under-firing strikers, whatnot, a shit goalkeeper, all that. She said it all. But so I'll just look at the INEOS signings. When you look at that squad that they have, I think we all know where else they need to strengthen. It's clear, it's obvious. And it feeds into what business we'll be looking to do before the end of this window. A striker to replace Zexi up there, a central midfielder to replace Kone there, and a goalkeeper in goal, right? If you put a goalkeeper, you put a very good central midfielder, and you put a very good striker in that 11 that you see out there. That's a very, very good job in 12 months done by INEOS. Excellent job, actually, if they're able to pull it off. Add a few bits of good players from the pre-INEOS squad, because let's be honest, not like everybody else is rubbish from the pre-INEOS squad. You have Ahmad, you have Bruno, you have Diogo Dalot, you have a few others in there who can do a job. And over time, I'm sure they will be replaced in terms of those who do not fit, those who are injury prone and whatnot. Just as we've done to the bomb squad, they would also be replaced over time. When this whole project started, and we said they were bringing in football people and we're trying to establish a football structure, the notion that we had and came to understand and accept is that we want to develop a system where we have a game model, we know how we want to play, we buy players to fit that, we appoint managers to fit that as well. It's not a system of we are buying players for a specific manager, right? So much so that when the manager is fired, we need a whole squad, a whole new squad to be able to do something different. That's not how we want to do things. Hence, the mandate that any manager who is there, Amorim in this case, should be able to improve the players that are purchased for him. INEOS have signed 12, 13 players. They will probably sign a couple more. I doubt we would be able to go through with all the three we want to do. They would have a team in place, coupled with a few from the old band, and you would expect the manager to get a tune out of them. So people should, the reason I'm saying these things is people should not just limit it to, oh, they've only bought 4 players for Amorim since January. No. INEOS have bought a lot of players since last summer. And they'll probably buy a couple more before the end of the window. At the end of the window, right, the coach is expected to get the best out of whatever they are able to give him. And now I'm happy that they're getting a good blend, because I was afraid it was going to be a purely kindergarten project. But they've shifted from, oh, we're just buying young players to buying Premier League proven players. What that does, it limits the risks, right? And then cuts the adaptation period of certain players. It's more like a shortcut to success. We've seen it done before, like for over 20 years. See, we watch Alex Ferguson do this over and over and over again. I don't know what happened over the past
teams
10
and
years
get their best players.
Where we just decide to be dashing people in other countries a lot of money, claiming that Premier League players are expensive, but we go and pay 74 million pounds for Højlund, and we go and pay 85 million pounds for Anthony. They wonder that, why don't you rather spend the money on Premier League players anyway, since you claim they're expensive? But some way, somehow, INEOS have found their roots back. And I'm glad that is what they intend to do. So I guess we can jump into what next in the window.
Well, what's next? What's next? Mami, we want a striker. What striker do you want in the Premier League? Mateta.
I mean, that's the last time I came on here. That's what I said, right? I
Yes.
was interested.
Yeah.
That's still my
That's
choice.
your choice, yes.
You know that Aston Villa has some stuff going on, so there's a possibility over there. But if I had to choose between what's his name and Mateta, I would probably still choose Mateta. It's not as clear cut, and I'm a little hesitant to say that because I feel like Oli is he's old enough that he can be phased out pretty quickly. So it's not a bad idea for us to actually use Oli. But Mateta brings everything. He has the heights, he has the physicality, he has the pace, he knows how to hold the ball up and, bring other players into it. I mean, I remember watching him in the FA Cup final and I was just like, wow, like
superb, wasn't it?
I want. This would be so nice if he was playing for us. Like it was just sweet to me, but Charlie, money. So Mateta is the guy for me. Like I also like the confidence he has. I just really like the guy, but I don't know if INEOS can do that. I feel like Crystal Palace is going through some things right now, right? They've been demoted from the Europa League, the Conference League. Will that mean that some of the players are unsettled? There's a lot of noise about what's his name going to Arsenal. They're right.
Eze.
Yeah, Eze. So I don't know, like, is there an opportunity there? They already have a backup striker, so maybe there's an opportunity there. Aston Villa sold their backup striker. So if they sell Oli, who do they have? And
I have a theory. When you're done, I'll tell you how it can all happen. But yeah.
Yeah, and their problem is with the what's it called? The issues with their finances, right? That's Aston Villa's problem. So whatever they did last year when they tried to do the whole swap thing of exchanging academy players with Chelsea and things like that.
Women's team, they sold it.
Yeah, the women's team too. Like, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but has Aston Villa bought anybody this summer?
I think so. Yeah, I saw one player, one unknown player, but I've not a player we all know. One of these unknown players, yeah.
Nothing like they've been doing in the last few transfers, right?
Yeah.
So they are a little bit in trouble. They are in trouble a little bit. So I feel like there's an opportunity there, and so it might be a question of where do we have the opportunity? Is it with Crystal Palace or is it with Aston Villa? And that's what we end up with, either Oli or we end up with Mateta. I think that might be, but I would just like Mateta, even if it's not just for the fact that I can sing Kunya Mateta. Like, that would be fun.
Hakuna Matata.
She has me thinking, I'll be like, because I've been high on the Mateta horse for a while now. It's just that I had this acceptance that they're going to Europe and then they're going to do this and he's going to sign a new contract, they're in negotiations, so maybe it's not going to happen. And the moment he signs that contract, it's going to cost 100 million.
He'll be a lot cheaper too. I think somewhere around 40 million should get.
You see, that's the thing. They are trying to get him to sign an extension. See, the Crystal Palace have done this to a lot of players. Remember Olise, yeah?
Yeah.
They made Olise sign a contract last year so that they can bump up the release clause. Because his release clause was like 35 million pounds. And then they made him sign the extension so that they can get a little bit more.
Yeah.
They could just coerce you into, you sign this extension so that instead of the 40 million pounds everybody thinks we can get you for, we can quote like 60. See, let's not even go far. Wolves did it with Cunha.
Yeah.
He signed the extension in January. Just January, 6 months ago. And then they put in a release clause of 62.5 because we're thinking we could go in there and get him for like 40 odd.
Yeah.
So clubs do that. It depends on, and that's my fear now when it comes to him.
Anyway, guys, we need to move forward. Let's
As for Ole, we can do something with Garnacho. I still insist we can do something with Garnacho. And then I'm sure you'll be wondering, how did they get a striker? This guy, Unai Emery, worked with Jackson at Villarreal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Chelsea want to get rid of Jackson. Right? They need a striker. We get Oli, they get Jackson, they have Garnacho. They would have replaced their old aging striker with two young, promising players who could thrive and they could make money off in the future. It may appeal to them. Who knows?
That's not a bad idea, and they can get Jackson on a loan. It doesn't have to be a transfer. So
it works too. Well, I think they did that with Rashford and then Asensio last year. So why not?
Well, let's see how it goes. I'm just checking to see, seeing a lot of quotes about Marcus Rashford and some of the things. So just to confirm, just before we started, the confirmation had come that Rashford has been transferred to Barcelona on loan. He said some very nice things. He has nothing bad to say about Man United. I mean, he's insisted on that. Even if he says it's me, I'll throw Ty from Ghana to go and hit his head. We are the club that has made him who he is, and he's also
don't touch my boy.
I know
he has done his part.
I know.
He has done his part.
I'm saying
every story comes to an end.
He can't tell us we didn't support him. He should get out of here.
But he's not said anything.
That's what I'm saying.
To force some negativity
what I'm
in the Rashford part.
I understand.
No. Why are you throwing any form of tantrum when all he said today is positive stuff about Manchester United? He's moved on. Your club has problems to solve. Let's fucking solve our problems and leave Russia alone.
Oh, please. It's going to make me support Barcelona. I don't know why.
I think it's as simple as this. Rashford is a player who is still contracted to Manchester United. He said that he has to stay within the confines of his contract. And we are moving for this season. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Anyway, so
he would do absolute best, yeah. Win the treble at Barca. Hopefully, Manchester United wins something too, so that we are all happy.
I hope he has an amazing time. I hope he has an amazing time at Barca. It reignites the passion that he has played with on the pitch so many years. I really hope that he has a fantastic time there. He should come back a UCL winner, a La Liga winner.
He shouldn't come back. He should stay there.
He's back. He's on loan. So
no. Listen, this is what could happen. I'm predicting this. You watch. You call me a messiah, absolute prophet. In 6 months' time, yeah, when he's done bits for the next 6 months, like this first 6 months, Barcelona will come back to Manchester United and go like, we want to pay the money now. We actually want to make him permanent now. Make him permanent by January. Mark it.
From your lips to God's ears. Yes.
I just love the guy.
You forget Barca and broke team. Javier Tebas had to leak their financial records.
Stop calling them broke. If they have to activate levers, that man knows how to pull it off. He does what he needs to do when he needs to do it. Unlike a certain thing that I know.
Unless Tebas doesn't leak their financial reports to Man United.
Don't worry. See, whatever Tebas has done, the man has always found a way. He's registered everybody he wants to register when he wants to register them. They'll fight. At the end of the day, Barca still registers those players anyway, right?
I remember the Daniel Omo one. It was like, oh, Daniel Omo is going to be sold. In January, he's being sold and all of that before I realized he was registered.
Talk. It's always talking in Catalonia. Always talk. It's politics. See, let me be honest, yeah. You know, Catalonia and Spain, it's like you been in Lesotho and then or you probably I don't want to go like or you're Gambian and then the whole Senegal thing. It's politics. Like we are part of Spain, but we're not really part of Spain. A lot of things really happen that you people think it's just like football. It's not really football. It goes way beyond football.
So our team, as you can see from the pictures, are in the United States for the tour. All the players are there except the bomb squad. 4 of the bomb squad. 1 of the bomb squad has moved to Barcelona. It's left with 4 of the bomb squad. Who are still at Manchester and training at Carrington. Well, we are there to get ready for the season, and we have our first game coming up against West Ham United. Mami, I mean, what are you looking forward with regards to the tour? I mean, you'll be going to watch one of the games. Tell me, how excited are you, and what are the things you are looking forward to seeing?
I'll be at the Bournemouth game on
Mm.
Wednesday. I just want to see it in context, like with everything, not just the screen that the cameraman is giving me.
Mm.
If I get the opportunity, I'll try and definitely get some autographs, but I don't know how that will
Get
happen.
some videos, some pictures, autograph, and send them to us. The ones you feel comfortable sending, send them to us. We'll publish them.
Been for like 6 hours, and I don't have the lifestyle to come for 6 hours for a football team. I'm just not there in my life right now. Maybe when I was younger, we could have done that. I'll be going with my brothers and my husband.
Okay.
So I really fun. I will try and see if we can at least go and meet some of the United groups in Chicago. There's an unofficial sports supporters team group in Chicago. So we'll try and do some of that. But we're expecting to have a good time. The way the series works is that when you buy the ticket, you can actually watch both of the games that day. Not just the ticket you bought, but then the other game. And I think West Ham is also playing that day. So it will be really we're thinking about watching both games. So not just the United game, but the other game. To kind of, because I've never been to a Premier League game, unfortunately. So I think it will be nice to see some of those teams play in the US as part of a PL series, and not necessarily just them coming as part of their preseason maybe like other European teams and things like that. So that would be really fun to see. But I'm looking forward to it. Every now and then United try to come back to the US. So we are a little lucky with that. So it satisfies my appetite a little bit. But one day I have to make it to Old Trafford myself and actually that's my goals for the next 5 years.
Yes, before they break it down, or they tear it apart.
So yeah. But they've extended that from 5 years to 10 years now. It's now a
Really?
10-year plan. Well,
was it really like worded that way? It was more like we want to host the Women's World Cup in 2035, not necessarily like we would finish then. We'll probably be in use till 2035, and then they go like, let's host something.
Let's see.
So they are walking back a little bit from the 5 years, everything will be done, but they are not
They have
saying
to finish before the man dies, so that's the whole point. Is that the timeline is my lifetime left on Earth.
Billionaires know how to live long, so some pillows.
Anyway. Kwame, Charlie, I want someone to sponsor me to Old Trafford. If you are watching, please sponsor me. Just come and sponsor. Myself and
we need sponsors. We actually need sponsors.
Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Last time, one of our fans from Kenya asked that I get him an original United shirt. I'm like, yeah, in Ghana is the Shaibu ones we all buy.
Still you.
Is the Tudu ones we all go to buy.
He said we should send it to him in the UAE or so. I was like, dude, man, chill. We are not there yet. Chill, we'll get there soon.
Over the last 4 years, I think Kwame and I, we've been getting our shirts from the store. But last year, I actually had a very good friend of mine getting it for me from the UK, because our CD and the pound was something else. So I decided not to use mine.
Last year I was pissed, so I didn't buy anything. Pissed off.
Because Kwame,
and this year I'm contemplating.
Last year,
I'm still contemplating.
Last year the CD and the pound was close to, so you're going to spend close to 2,000 CDs. 2,000. You go and buy
a lot, yeah.
It was just too much. It was just too much. But shout outs to Atik Mohammed for getting me the United shirts. All right, guys. Kwame, the game against West Ham. I mean, we've seen. This will be the episode we'll discuss that before. I mean, when we come back again, we are going to be doing a post match of that. But let's quickly look at that. We've seen the first preseason game. This will be the second preseason game. What are some of the things we are expected to look at now to the game proper? Then I'll get to Mami to share her point of view on that.
You know, I was of the notion that we should get off to an absolute quick start, even in the first game.
Yeah.
But I gave it a pass because you have to shake off the rust, I guess.
Yeah.
But now I think this is like the real preseason. This is it. First game out of the way in Europe, closer to home. Now you've gone all the way to the United States. You've had a couple of prime targets brought in, especially in offense, because we were really short in offense. But now you have a couple of them in with the hope that one more may join along the way in the shape of a striker.
Yeah.
I think squad-wise, we have all positions filled. It's just that we need upgrades in a couple of positions. Clear. Striker, central midfielder, goalkeeper. Fingers crossed. Now, I want to see what Amorim wants to play. I know what the game model is. In my mind, I know what I want to see. It's just that I've not seen it. I didn't see it at all in the first game in possession football. Dominate your opponent. This is against a decent Premier League team, right? Powerful Premier League team. They have powerful players. I want us to go up against them toe to toe, show that level of physicality and aggression. Because you're no longer rusty. You've had about 2 or 3 weeks of training, almost 3 weeks of training. Go in there, get stuck in a little bit. I know it's preseason. I'm not going to go full on, but show some form of aggression in trying to win balls back, play the ball around, dominate the ball, and score some goals, and good goals at that. We have to see some form of cohesion, telepathy, some form of automatisms starting to show, partnerships on the football pitch between certain players. And I love the fact that Mame mentioned certain zones that we are trying to take advantage of. You want to see consistent things done in those zones. Under Eric Ten Hag, there was this thing that we used to do when we used to get into wide spaces where Bruno Fernandes gets in there and then just whips in across into the box without even looking. Or Casemiro gets the ball and then without even looking, he plays the ball over the top, expecting runners to go in. It was almost like automatic. Or Diogo Dalot making this run from deep, and then the long ball goes from one of the center backs and he finds himself beating the offside trap one-on-one with the goalkeeper. You want to see those movements, right? Combinations play between Ahmad and whichever right winger plays there. If it's going to be, they're going to interchange positions, as we saw Ahmad do with Toby Collier. Probably we'll see that being done between Mbeumo and Ahmad on that wing. You want to see that in full glare. It's clear. Mami will be sitting at the stadium and goes like, the ball is going to go there, and I know what this person is going to do, or this person is going to try to do. Unlike sitting there in the stands and wondering, okay, so what next? When this person gets in there, he's isolated. He doesn't have anybody else to pass to. There is no outlet. You want to see those things. And once you begin to see those things, you then begin to accept the fact that we are getting to understand what we want to do. Pre-season is preparation for the actual season. This is the longest time you would have time to train players. I'm almost complaining about not having time to train players.
Well, now he has it.
Into them. Now he has it. That's where I'm going with this. Now he has it. So we should be able to see patterns of play, combinations, automatisms, certain things that are so consistent all the time, right? Good things that are consistent all the time, not the consistent bad things that we are seeing. I'm not even particular about the results. I've told you I'm not like super duper high on the results. But throw back to Ferguson's time, preseason, he would say, no matter what, you should still win. He doesn't even give a damn. Like, please go when you play against Kaiser Chiefs, you play against AC Milan, whatever. The habit of winning is very important. It's all about mentality, right? And when you go to US, you go to fans who are far out of reach most of the time. You want to give them a treat because, see, they're not always going to have access to Manchester United. And they're going to pay good money to actually watch Manchester United, right? Give them something to take back home. Ideally, a win. But most importantly, performances.
Mame, into the game itself.
Yeah, Kwame has said a lot of what I would want to say as well. I'll say, like, to add to that, I want to see a better partnership on the wings. It looked like Cunha and Leon were a little bit disjointed in their application. I think the first question I have is that going to be the partnership? I think it should be Dogu and Cunha. So I want to just see that. Like, just start it. We wanted to get Leon's feet wet a little bit, but he's not going to be starting left wing back. So let's just play Cunha and Dogu and give them time as much as possible to develop that partnership so that we can get those automatisms that Kwame has talked about. The same thing on the other side, whether it's with Mbumo and Ahmad or it's Mbumo and Dalo, let's see it. Give them the time or the chance to actually start getting that partnership going. Also, I'm curious, like, who will play 60 minutes with West Ham? Because that person is going to be starting the game against Arsenal. So I want to see how that goes, to see who will play 60 minutes. I also think we need to score a goal. I don't care whether we win or lose, but we need to score a goal. The biggest problem we had last season was scoring goals. And we need to quickly get into the habit of being able to score goals, because we have a mentality problem in the squad where if we don't score goals, we easily get deflated in our confidence. So I think it's really important to start getting into the habit of scoring goals as a team so that we can gain some confidence as a team and believe a little bit in what the coach is trying to give to them. And then also we, like Kwame said, we want to win, even if it's a preseason game. But I think even this preseason, it's even more important because they are all going to be PL games, except for the one against Fiorentina. We are playing PL. So the games that we are winning, the games that we are playing, there's a psychological part to it, because you are going to meet those teams again very soon. And you have to win that game. And you want to go into that game thinking, we've beat these people before, we should be able to do it again. Not thinking, well, we didn't beat them in preseason, but let me make this excuse of it was just preseason, we didn't really need to win. Now we are going to do the business. No, beat them now and give them that element of doubt for the game that is coming, that is the real game. Don't make them confident. Give them doubt. Give us confidence. Take away doubt. So I think it's very important that we win the game. And then obviously we've talked about dominating, but I know that with the team that we have, we are not dominating in the midfield in this game against West Ham. Please, like United fans, just focus on our strengths right now and let us get good at it. So let's focus on, are we able to dominate on the wings? Are we able to dominate in the wide areas and really use that to create the chances that we need to win this game? If we're able to do that, that is progress. Can't do everything in one preseason game. Let's see what we can do and continue to progress as a team.
Well, thank you guys. What I have to say, stick Tom Heaton in the goalpost for 90 minutes. I don't want to see any Bayern in there.
You know, we've not really talked about this Onana injury and the current situation with the goalkeepers that we have. We've not really spoken about it.
We've not. But stick Tom Heaton in there. For nothing at all, he's a very good shot stopper and gives me a lot more confidence than the other guy. So please.
See, in as much as we bash Onana, the reason why Onana plays is because the second goalkeeper is not good enough.
What's up?
I'm more concerned now about getting rid of him than Onana, because I know it will be difficult to even move Onana.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to move Onana, then don't have Banyede there. Let him go on loan to Turkey or somewhere if he wants to make the Turkish squad. Let him go back to play football.
Take him back to
and then get somebody in who can actually come and go like, I'm taking this jersey away from you, Andre.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the most expensive goalkeeper in the world.
For me, that's
somebody who can actually compete with him.
That's it for me. So please stick Tom Heaton in there for 90 minutes. I don't want to see anybody in there. So
I think a really good game in the second half of the game that we just played against Leeds. He made brilliant saves. Because our defense, especially on the left, was it the left side? Yeah, was a little bit porous. And he was able to add some really good chances that Leeds had. I agree with you. I think we should, especially with Onana being injured, we should have him start from the beginning.
Last season I was on that campaign when Bayern there was
out of Bayern dead. Hey, how quite have a power. Anyway, I looked at the size of the guy and I thought, like, you know what, like,
he can't even kick a very good kick of the ball. He kicks the ball.
That's the part that pisses me off the most. His kicks. It's like so erratic. He just kicks the ball anyway. What's wrong with him?
Anyway, guys, thank you so much, Kwame. Thank you very much, Mami, for joining us on the podcast today. I really enjoyed myself. I mean, the conversation is always nice when we are together having to talk about our club and everything that has to do with it. We know you have enjoyed it. You've watched till the very end. So thank you so much. Remember to like the videos. Remember to share with your friends. Those of your friends you are enjoying. You've come to see United podcast. You're enjoying alone. You don't want to share with your friends who are United fans. I saw a guy say that I've always been sending the videos to my United WhatsApp groups. So all of you learn from him. And to you who said that, God bless you. One goes up for you. Thank you so much. It's been fun having you. Thank you, guys. We'll see you after the game against West Ham. It will be deep in the night. I think it will be around 11:30 Ghana time, about 1:30 at Kwame's end. But we'll try and see if we can do the recording right after to see to share our thoughts on it, so we could give you something fresh, like we did against the Leeds United one. So we'll try as much as possible to do that. All right. So see you on the next one. Have a great time. Thank you, Mame, and thank you, Kwame.
Mame, feel sparse, yeah? Have a lot of fun. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you.